Yo pensé que eran juguetes. Ya que empiecen los de veras.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the star of our show, direct from the bar,
PB.
What is going on out there, peeps? Yeah, when you start playing Whose Neighborhood Has the Best Fireworks, I don't know if you want to invite that friend over that launches a damn missile from his Hummer. You know what I mean? The funny thing is, the little girl in the front, sitting on a car, leaning over to the side like that's going to be enough to protect her if that sucker really takes off. And you have another little kid on the side just standing there playing. You're going to have to do a lot better than that. When that sucker takes off, it's going to burn the car. Let's get back to Iraq, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. You can laugh all you want. Some of you got a roast beef sandwich, man, but I saw that. I couldn't resist. I kept laughing my ass off. Anyways, back to Iraq. Iraq's inflation rate is declining and its gold reserves are rising, an expert explains. What does it explain, man? When you start backing your stuff up with gold, things tend to get better. Remember, do as they do, not as they say. You should be backing yourself up with gold and silver as well. Iraq recorded a significant decline in inflation, coinciding with the rise in its gold reserves during the first quarter of 2025. These financial and monetary indicators are described as positive despite the challenges posed by fluctuating oil prices. Well, even so, your oil prices fluctuating should still be a concern for a lot of people. Remember, your entire budget's based on it. Financial expert Nori explained in a statement to the news that the decline in inflation is due to a number of factors, most notably the Central Bank of Iraq's policy of controlling the money supply and circulation, in addition to regulating borrowing to finance the private sector at limited rates that contribute to stimulating the economy without causing a cash surplus. He added the decline in global commodity price had a direct impact, given Iraq's heavy reliance on imports to meet its commodities and merchandise needs, which has resulted in low domestic price levels. Regarding the increase in gold reserves, the expert attributed it to the central bank's policy of diversifying investment instruments by balancing dollar-dominated debt securities with gold purchases, which he said is considered a safe store of value. Let's talk about gold. That is a safe store of value. He stressed that these policies aim to support and strengthen the central bank's reserves as part of the monetary policy orientations. In the same context, Nori warned of the negative impact and decline in export of oil prices, which resulted from OPEC's decision to increase production, which could negatively impact the state's general revenue and consequently the implementation of operating and investment budgets. He pointed out that the Federal Ministry of Finance has two options in light of this decline: either reduce spending to maintain the budget deficit or continue spending and increase the deficit, which will force the government to resort to domestic borrowing, which in one of these articles they're already talking about how they're paying down the debt. They need to make a choice. The expert explained that the challenge is directly related to fiscal policy, which requires a careful balance between spending and revenues. According to an official report issued by the Central Bank of Iraq, the Iraq economy witnessed a significant shift in monetary indicators during the first quarter of 2025. Inflation fell by 2.1%, while remittances abroad declined by 0.06%, indicating a relative improvement in the monetary balance and liquidity controls. This report, which covered January, February, and March, also showed a significant increase in the value of the Iraqis' gold reserves, raising from 17.8 trillion dinars to 21.2 trillion dinars. This reflects the central bank's reliance on asset diversification and promotion of safe havens to protect the cash reserves amid global market volatility. You notice they didn't say they added more gold. They said that the value of gold has went up. So Al-Majadini We reached with Barzani solutions to the regional salary crisis. Cool, you mean people are starting paid after 2 months? Good lordy, man, that's a long time. The decline in Iraq's public debt. Does it indicate an economic renaissance? So the Iraqi government began steps to reduce the internal debt from 85 trillion dinars and the external debt from 54 billion dinars through a plan based on contributions and rationalization, repayment, structuring, and expansion of revenues, while special emphasis is placed on only productive borrowing instead of insufficient borrowing. Well, the 85 trillion is pretty big, but the 54 billion almost seems pretty small compared to everything that's going on over in Iraq. As a result of this strategy, a statistic from the Central Bank of Iraq showed on Thursday a decrease in the internal public debt at the end of April of this year from 85 trillion and 503 billion Iraqi dinars, down from the month before, which was 85 trillion 536 billion dinars, so a 33 billion dinar decline. The official statistic, which has seen by the Iraqi news, indicated that the decrease comes as a result of repayment of loans to financial institutions amounting to 19 trillion and 119 billion dollars after it was 19 trillion and 152 billion dollars. So you're looking at a decline of 33 billion. She explained that the remaining debt is due to the Ministry of Finance of 756 billion dinars and the debt of the Treasury transfers to the central bank and commercial banks of 51 trillion 30 billion dinars, in addition to the Treasury transfers at the expense of the Ministry of Finance in the amount of 2 trillion and 30 billion dinars. And the national term debts of farmers is 12 trillion and 568 billion dinars. Financial and economic specialists explain that the external debt payable over the next 4 years, 4 years to pay that off, that's nice, is around 9 billion, and their external debt of similar amount extending for longer years relating to long-term loans from international funds for reconstruction of mostly liberated areas. So specialists stress that the ratio of external debt to GDP is in the safe range, not exceeding 8% of GDP, which makes Iraq within the global credit rating that is comfortable and low risk. That should improve their credit rating. Specialists point out that Iraq has a variety of resources that can be invested in a way of leading to zeroing these debts, which contributes to maximizing confidence in the national economy and improving the view of the international investment environment in the Iraqi economy. This is great for those of us who have been invested into the Iraqi stock exchange. The specialists explained that the less interest burden and the internal and external debts are zero, the more investors are reassured that Iraq is able to cover investment costs, and that giving the appropriate returns for this investment will undoubtedly lead to diversifying the resource of the national economy, especially since there is a need for thousands of strategic projects in the food, energy, and transport and other sectors. That's what I love about being involved with the wise investment when it comes to the Iraqi stock, is because we're getting there at the ground level. So it's only going to go up, and I look forward to that. Anyways, let me know what you think. I'll catch you later. I'm out.